Ladies and gentlemen, again, we want to welcome you to the Brotherhood of All Nations, Church of God in Christ. We are hosting this forum for our governor and the state of Michigan, along with you, the community, to come and be able to share together the themes that is dealing with our school system. At this time, because you are in the house of God, I'm going to ask you to stand on your feet as we have a word of prayer. Righteous Father in heaven, we thank you again for bringing us together. We thank you, God, for looking on us and giving us this opportunity to come together as a community, as leaders of the state, that we can look to you and ask you for your guidance and wisdom as we move forward to work with our community, our children, and our families. We pray, God, for your invited guests, for you to be here in this place, that peace and harmony will be manifested, that we will hear one another and respect one another, that we will leave here with a better understanding how to work together according to your will. We pray for our community. We pray for the city, Benton. We pray for our governor, the leader of the state of Michigan. We pray, God, that you will continue to be with us all, keep us, strengthen us, build us, and we should ever give you the glory and all the honor and praise. In the name of Jesus we pray. Thank God that amen and amen. You can be seated. For the sake of time, I was going to preach at least 15 minutes, but we're going to introduce our governor. We have the governor of the state of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Come on, give her a hand, everybody. We also have Lieutenant Governor Gerlin Gilchrist. State Treasurer Rachel Eubanks. Come on, give her a hand. And the Michigan Department of Education School Reform Officer Bill Pearson. Come on, give him a hand. At this time, let's give it up for the governor of the state of Michigan, John Paul.
Thank you, Bishop. Thank you for opening up your church home and inviting us in and hosting us. You know, we wanted to come to Benton Harbor, and the Bishop was the first to say, I'll open up my doors for a community conversation. And I appreciate that. You know, this is tough stuff that we're talking about. And I've been thinking about what I wanted to say, getting this conversation started. I prayed on it. I thought about it. I talked to people in this community. This is tough stuff. And this problem that we're trying to confront was not created by anyone in this room. It wasn't created by me. It wasn't created by your school board. It wasn't created by anyone, the children most importantly. And yet, it's a big problem we got to confront. Benton Harbor Schools has a proud history and serves children of this community. But the fact of the matter is, right now, the school district has a $16 million debt. When you combine that with the academic struggles that the district has been confronting, where only 3% of third graders, that means 97 out of 100 third graders can't read to standard. Okay, we'll open it up, but I'm just going to make a couple of observations. Where graduating seniors don't have the preparation they need. We've got to get serious about supporting our children. Can we all agree on that? Yes. Okay. I know that the most emotional thing you could ever talk to me about is my kids. They're high schoolers. And I think about the children of Benton Harbor. And I worry about the future of Benton Harbor. And I worry about the future of our children. I see these beautiful kids sitting here in the pew. And I know there's a lot of fear in this community and distrust. And that's legit. Because for years, we've seen the state not support a community that they put into jeopardy. We're a state that has been not investing in the education of our children. And we got an education crisis across Michigan. And this community is feeling it harder than anywhere else. And that's why I worked with the Department of Treasury, the Department of Education, local community members to try to fashion a solution so that this community can keep a school district. Because I gotta tell you, with other communities that have had debt and poor outcomes for kids, the traditional route has been to dissolve school districts or to move to full charter, and that's not what I want for Benton Harbor. What I want for Benton Harbor is to get back on track. And what I proposed, yes, it's a change. And I know people are worried about what this looks like for high schoolers in particular. But what we proposed is supporting a K-12 system, or K-8 system. Giving the support so that the academics can turn around and the board can shed the $16 million of debt. Giving our high schoolers an opportunity.
Can I say something? Y'all, please, let her finish. Please. Let her finish. And when she's done, you will have a chance to speak. We can all sing together, but we can't talk at the same time. Let her speak, please.
And giving high schoolers an opportunity immediately in another nearby district or through the Lake Community College opportunity. Now I know, I can see it's not being met with a lot of enthusiasm for some in this room. But I have talked to, well, that's not right, because I've talked to a lot of people who understand that this might be a good option for high school. Okay. But let me just reiterate this. In any district that has the debt, the financial crisis, and the academic crisis that Benton Harbor does, the usual route is dissolution. That's not what I want for Benton Harbor. What I want is to help the district get back on its feet. But everything that we're doing, I hope, is centered not by what adults want, but what is best for the children. Because our children need our support. Our children need a great education opportunity. And our children are going to need, no matter what resolution looks like, the wraparound supports they need to be successful. That's the ultimate goal I hope that everyone in this room can nod their heads to and share. I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn. I'm here because this community is important to me. And most importantly, I want to make sure that the kids of Benton Harbor get good opportunities and a great education. That's what levels the playing field for people in our country. That's what levels the playing field for people in our state. And that's what we have to get right in Benton Harbor and across the state of Michigan.
Thank you, Governor. I want to say that we had some real good dialogue downstairs that you need to hear. You need to learn what was said. Because don't leave here with misconceptions and ideas that you think is going to happen when it's not that way. The governor is here to try her best to save our school. Well, it may not sound like it, but I'm telling you that's what she's trying to do. And we need to listen. We need to listen. And I'm going to right now move ahead and allow you all to have some dialogue for you to speak. But now I want to say to you, again, we talked about respect. When you get up, speak, say what you need to say, but respect that there's other people who need to talk, and we want to keep it moving. And we want to hear from basically the people that are really involved, and that is the people that got kids in the school, that in this school district, those who we really want to hear from, because you are the one that it's going to affect. So on that note, I want to ask, we got Lieutenant Governor is going to speak for a minute, and then we're going to come back and we're going to have words from you. So let's receive the Lieutenant Governor at this time.
Y'all hear me?
Y'all hear me now?
Yes.
I'm going to keep this short because we're here for a community conversation, not here for me. But I want to talk about something really brief. So I'm standing before you as somebody who had an educational experience that is possibly part of this proposal. So I grew up in Detroit. And I had the experience during my education of being sent to a school district where I went from being in a 99% black school to being the only black kid in the building. And I know that some of the concern and some of the questions and some of the reservations are about what does that look like for you as a student? How do you deal with the racism that you may encounter? I had to deal with people touching my hair and rubbing my elbows to understand how being black worked. I had to deal with adults making assumptions about what I was capable of. And for them trying to take action to limit my possibility because of what they thought I could actually do. And that's real to be scared of. My parents were scared of that. In order to try to deal with those concerns, we want to put guardrails against those experiences. This isn't an opportunity to end racism. It's not an opportunity to end racism. That's real, that exists. It is an opportunity for the state of Michigan to say, we want to give every child, every student, every baby, the opportunity to have a full experience. And when something happens that is bad, when something happens that is negative, if somebody says something to you or does something to you, that we can actually respond to it and deal with it in a way that's real, in a way that's accountable, in a way that actually gets justice. By having people in place, by having training in place, by saying that the state is not turning its back on these students. So I just want to talk that on a personal level, because I know that's something that the parents who I spoke to in Benton Harbor, that's a question they ask me a lot directly. What does this look like? And so I want to let you know that that's something that we're trying to think about.
Okay, we're going to get ready and give you an opportunity to speak. We're going to have Deon Williams. He's going to get a mic and he's going to take it to you. I would like for you to do two things. Those that want to speak, you will stand up and he will take the mic to you. And now remember, you got where you're from, and we don't have all day. And we don't have, you don't have 5-10 minutes. You didn't need to state your case for we can move forward and we try to get as many people as we can to speak.
Let the young people speak first.
She's going to be on this side.
Let the young people speak first.
2 minutes, okay? You just go be 2 minutes.
Let the kids speak first.
Oh, he's going to be.
Speak first.
People from Benton Harbor, can you please stand up? If you're from Benton Harbor. Everybody can sit back down. Those that want to speak, that's from Benton Harbor. We want you to speak. We want to hear from you.
My name is Nicorian Trader. I go by So True. And as you all know, I made a music video not too long ago supporting our community. I just want to say that, I just want to say that the music video is made, to support our community. And I know that we're going through tough times just like every other school is. But Governor, you can't shut us down because how you gonna have a community without a high school? It don't make sense. We going through the same thing other schools going through, if not worse, as you said yourself. So how you trying to pinpoint us and shut us down? It doesn't make sense. I understand that we in debt and all that, but at the end of the day, we only do what we can.
I'm a resident of Benton Harbor, Michigan. My thing is this. We talked about this debt, but we trusted the state the first time. And you guys failed us. And me personally, I think the debt came from you guys. You loaned us this money, and knowing we wasn't going to be able to pay it back after you came in with the act of shipping our kids out. $8,000 per child is a lot of money. $2 million lost last year is a lot of money. That's money that we could have used for resources for our children, for better books, computers, better environment, better everything. But you guys failed us. And then gentrification. Does anybody know what the word gentrification means? Major, we got Whirlpool, 500 feet right in the backyard of Benton High School. Do we got help? No. But they moved right in. The whole thing is this. Benton Harbor signs are leaving, but I see a lot of Harbor Shore signs.
Say that. Say it.
The airport in Benton Heights was supposed to be Benton Harbor's, but
Give him the mic. Let him talk in the mic.
Give him the mic.
Give him the mic, man.
Child.
Y'all finna be dirty. Harry, can you get the mic?
My name is Marvin Haywood. When you opened up the conversation, you talked about the data. First and foremost, the data that you spoke on was created by the state. So we can't trust the data. When you talk about the first thing that we have to remember, we have to keep it real. We can't have a show here today. We have to deal with reality. And we have to deal with facts. You spoke on it when you first said this was not created by Benton Harbor. This was not created by the districts or the leaders. However, there has been individuals that have been put in place to systematically work in conjunction with working against us and not for us, and that is facts. Okay, I went to them years ago when we was $1 million in debt. I sat with Dave, with Mom, and Jeff Nolan, and as I told him, he said, well, what is it that you need? The old question the other day, I didn't need anything because it wasn't about me, it was about the kids. But they knew that they wouldn't put $1 million into a sinking course because it was systematically designed to dissolve and move the Benton Harbor High School. The first thing that we have to remember, forgiving the debt would have to be the only option. If we forgave the debt and took Barron Reese out of the picture and put it back up under local control. Now, hold on a second. Let me tell you why I say that. If you allow this board and this district 1 year to come up with a strategic plan, and mind you, you had a CEO that's been here a year, he had everybody top heavy. All right, he got a CFO over the high school, Mrs. Shelton, getting almost $100,000 talking about transformation. They've been creating titles, man. He first got he moved his office out of the school instead of out the office. But I'm trying to bring you the picture to. In order to know how we got to 18 million, you got to know where it comes from. That's all I'm saying. And you know we talk try to use that. And I call Scotty all the time. The reason I'm saying is because we have to keep it real. Because we really need you. And I understand, see, you already came with a plan. So the leaders that you talk to have been representing this district. Transparency is the first order of the day. We try to keep it real. We have to be transparent. And that's what's been going on when you say there's been no trust. There's been no trust because it's individuals that may have their own interests and political agendas on the table.
Right.
And so when you talk about being real, everybody in here know I'm telling you, it's the truth. And we have to stand on facts when we deal with this situation. But I'm saying that because if this situation can be turned around, if Barron Reese is out the picture, there's the right people brought in, and we brought in our own superintendent, and nobody that has been, nobody that has been silent. And I'm asking for a year. And if we don't have a strategic plan with the people that I want to sit at the table, and we have people on the board now that, you know, and I have to say a board member's name, Mrs. Rush, I trust her fully to come up with a comprehensive plan to bring this district back, bring our students back, because that's the whole objective is to bring the students back.
Right.
When she talked about corporate America, You got $1 billion corporation in the golf course, but we still 18 million in debt. And I'm saying, I don't let everybody talk. But all I'm saying, I'm gonna let everybody talk, but all I'm saying is this is a real situation. And I don't speak for Marvin Haywood. I speak for everybody in my room.
Right.
About the money, because if that's the case, I could have took money years ago. When they said, what is it that you need? I don't need nothing. It's about them young men and women there that don't understand. See, in order to come with a plan, it had to be pre-planned before you got here.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
With those leaders, then the next day, I could come out, you may have not said you were going to shut down high school. This is next article in the paper. So in order to come with that, whoever you was meeting with at that time had to be representing themselves, because that's not the will of the community. So when you I say it because I speak for this community, because it's not about me. It's about all these hard works. You know how many people that left when Ben Reese was put in place? They got rid of all of our qualified teachers. They closed the skills center, they closed the tech center. CTE courses was took. They outsourced the bus driver job. All right, I was there because I was prepared for it. I wasn't when it started. Then they began to outsource everything. So how can the district be outsourced, but yet bring in the resources and keep us the same? The jobs just when the outsourcing left, they say we give you a job and we
I don't want to talk over, but I'm Harold Gray. I taught some of the best students that I had were Benton Harbor students. Now, the question is not about rhetoric, not about division, not about blame. It's to keep the schools open. It's not about blaming the governor who's been in office for 6 months.
Please, let's be respectful, please.
I'm only going to take 2 minutes. I came here 35 years ago from North Carolina. And I came to teach. I taught in Cologne. And I said some of my best students were Benton Harbor students. But I've been here for 35 years, and I've heard complaints for 35 years about Benton Harbor.
All right.
That's not fair. Now, we need to put things in perspective. We talked, and it was a good meeting last night, and some statistics that showed $22 million from the budget of Benton Harbor schools because of schools of choice. Think about this. Nobody forced those parents to take those students to other schools. Those parents did that. Now they did that because they want a good education for their kids. Just as you do here. Just as you do here. Now I'm talking from my experience. This isn't any rhetorical thing. Now, if we have to think about it, those parents voluntarily took their kids away. You want them back? We need to have some constructive work here. It's not about blaming people who have nothing to do with it. We're trying to come up with a solution. I care about these students. I taught these students. One of the new ministries in this church was ordained here for one first student.
I'm Ralph Craig, and I want to share with you, I've been at Benton Harbor 82 years. I graduated from Benton Harbor High. I got 50 grandkids, I got 25 great-grandkids, 4th generation. I have a stake in Benton Harbor. You know, and I'm tired, you know, and I've been involved in working in the community all of my life. But I'm saying that I respect the governor being here. And my thing is, if you're coming from the heart, we can work this problem out in Benton Harbor. But with the governor to sit down with the Benton Harbor and get a path to bringing this thing back to reality, where all of us can win. Now, one of the things I learned when I was in the plant, and I would come up to the plant, it had to be a win-win situation on both sides. So I would say to the governor, and the other ones in this room, quit blaming each other. Let's look at how can we find a way to solve this problem together to the benefit of our kids and move forward. Thank you, God bless you.
God bless you, Ralph. We love you, former city commissioner. Michael Hoy, class of '84. I know what desegregation is. I went through the segregation. I know what it is. I know what it did to our classmates. Classmate. That's not the answer, Governor. Here's my question to you. There was a comment that has supposedly been said about development, that there's people ready for development. Okay? I would like, before you leave, just to speak on that. I know you, thank you. If you like to speak now, I would.
Will you finish your question so I make sure?
There is no. I just know this segregation didn't work. Didn't work.
You were asking a question about
the question. So there is a comment. There was something that's been printed on the letter that was sent from the school board to you about someone in your administration spoke that there is ready for development on the waterfront and something like that. The letter's here. I don't have it in front of me, but could you just speak on that, please? That's my only part right now. Thank you.
Sure, and you know, as people were talking, I'm remiss that I didn't acknowledge that I know that what's driving the anxiety and the emotion is that I know you love your kids. And I know you're working hard to give your kids every opportunity, just like I am with my family. And that's what I'm trying to stay focused on, is making sure that the children have what they need to be successful. So you asked a question about development, and I understand there has been conversations in the past about selling the property, development happening. I assume that's what you're. So that is absolutely not something that I support. It is not something that I am promoting. It's not a conversation that I've been any part of, and I would never support that. As I told you in my opening remarks, my hope, my fervent hope, is that the district has phenomenal academic outcomes for K-8, and that we reboot a high school in Benton Harbor. We shed the debt, we get the academics on the right path, and we rebuild a high school opportunity.
Will it come back? Will it come back?
That's a part of what is in the plan that I put on the table. That we will not, I'm not trying to sell any school property, and I'm certainly not trying to dissolve a high school. What I'm trying to do is turn around the academic outcomes for our kids so that we can rebuild and reboot. And that property stays in control of Benton Harbor area schools.
Hello, my name is Anthony Celia. I'm from Colfax Avenue. I've been in contact with the governor about wireless technology. It seems like the community here loves their school. The young man was right. This is this community center. So you have an opportunity here to do a lot of good for a lot of people in many different ways. I've only been in this community for 5 years. I love it. I was here because people said don't come here, but the people are great.
Amen.
What I've noticed, you talk your experience about being the only black person, that's how this city feels. Around. Everybody around them is looking at pointing it. And this whole school thing, you dissolve the debt, what happens then? I mean, come on. If the kids are having trouble in high school, it's the K through 8 that's causing the problem. So why do you keep that, right? So you keep it all and you fix it all, because humans are creatures of habit. So when Niles or Stevensville has 40, 50 students at $8,000 a piece going there for 10 years, Are they gonna just give that money up that Benton Harbor wants to restart their high school?
No.
There needs to be a comprehensive plan that moves the entire community, the entire school system forward, not split up, not this way, not that.
That's right, that's right,
Hello, my name is Uriah Baker, and I'm born and raised in the city. I would first like to say that this young man might be a former censorship. That's number one. My question to you, Governor Whitmer, and I appreciate you being here. My question is, what do you say to the plan saying that this plan is for profit? For example, if Benton Harbor High School closes, that's $7,000, at least $7,000 per pupil that is going out of our school. And then on top of that, all the jobs that are lost, and that goes from teacher staff, principals, custodial staff, security guards, all that. Those are all jobs that are leaving our community. And these are situations that the black community has been facing forever. And this plan is kind of perpetuating that. So what do you say that this all for profit kind of demise of the black community?
I appreciate your activism and your asking the question, because that's probably in a lot of people's minds. So, you know, the Lake Michigan College opportunity that is a part of the solution I put on the table, there's an agreement that the employees at the high school will have an opportunity at Lake Michigan. Let's talk a little bit about the debt though, okay? Because I think it's important to acknowledge when there's a school district like Benton Harbor has $16 million worth of debt, almost a tenth of what should be going into the classroom is going toward paying off debt. And that's why it's so crucial that we come out of this with a real plan for solvency. Some have suggested we just wipe the debt clean and we move forward.
yeah.
I don't have unilateral authority to do that. That relies on a legislature to do that. And the likelihood of the Republican-controlled legislature doing that is slim to none. I'm overselling it. There are already conversations around the possibility of dissolution. And as I've told you, that is what I'm fighting against. And so I appreciate your question about what it means for jobs for people in the district. We do have a plan to make sure that the people that are teaching in the high school now have the same opportunity at Lake Michigan College. And it's something that I'm very mindful of. And acknowledging something that the Lieutenant Governor said, Garland had an experience that's not totally unlike. We're going to be ensuring that as African American children go into predominantly white schools, we know how important it is that we have the systems built around to support them, that we oversee and we are come down hard if there's a disproportionate level of suspension. I talked to a mom this morning who she said, you know, I'm afraid that they hold on to our kids for count day and then look for some excuse to turn them out. And that's a legitimate concern. That is why we're taking the planning period between now and the next school year, not this upcoming one, but the next one, to make sure that we get it right, that we have the systems built, that we've got the support for our children, and that we've got the plan that gets the debt started paying down. And that's why the treasurer is here with me as well, if anyone wants to ask her a question. I'm not going to solicit questions for you, Rachel, but if you did want to talk more about that aspect, we do have an expert in the room.
Commissioner Mary Alice Adams. Governor Whitmer, it's good to see you again, and I just hate to decide the circumstances that it is, because the last time we spoke, actually the first time, and the last words was, can I come and speak with you? And you said anytime. And I thank you for that. But now we're faced with this, and I keep hearing the money portion. And for anybody that doesn't know, student history, history exists for a reason. That's why it's history. There's a story back there somewhere. And in order for us to know where we're going, we have to know where we came from. And I've been 20 years of watching the manufactured mess of what has happened to Benton Harbor and its infrastructure of its city as well as its people more than anything. And I decided to get involved in becoming an elected official. This is a good plan, but it smells like it has the destruction of making sure that Manchester did well does not happen, to be partnering with the college and anything else for us to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. Because it had a lot of resources that were available to give not only the children, but the young adults that need the training that they need for the future jobs and so on to obtain. And that should be readily available for those that are just fearful of the very word college, like myself. But training should be available and not next door to some liquor store in a predominantly black community that has mental issues and drug addictive problems as there is. I'm asking you to hear me, but one more thing. And I don't see the people present, but he asked. Mr. Wilson Chandler asked publicly Mr. Union too, and to meet with you. And before any decision is made, he was hoping that you were here last night at the school because he was here.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked, actually appalled, that he did not get the memo that you would be here today in a timely enough manner for you to be here to speak with you all about a solution. Because we know that this is all what it's all about. And he may have the other resources to take care of that. So I ask you to please reach out to him or answer his call when he calls.
Hi, my name is Jasmine DeVerne. I'm a long-term sub at Ben Harbor High School. I'm graduated from Ben Harbor High School as a salutatorian in 2014. I went off to Michigan State right after graduating in 4 years with over a 3.0 grade point average. Within the last so my issue is that we're here with this problem, but it's on top of a lot of lies. So I understand that, yes, we do have these issues, and yes, we do need to find a solution, but like she said, before we can move forward, we need to move backwards, and we need to start telling the truth to our community and to the public about what has happened. I want to make a comment. It's really cute that, you have your representative here as a black man who did have that experience at a white school. Guess what? That doesn't make it okay. And we can't slide past racism like it's not an issue. Racism is real. And it affects our mental health. It affects our education. It affects the way we carry ourselves. So for us to say, oh, well, he did it, maybe our kids can do it, that's cool. It's not okay. So that's your story, valid. I'm glad you have the position that you have, but the reality for our children is that many of them don't have the stamina to go up and face racism every single day, and they shouldn't. So that's what we need to be talking about. It's not like, oh, it's not the issues. So we try to stop that issue from happening. I have some of the most amazing Ben Harbor High School students here, and I'm sad you all couldn't make it last night. It was an amazing event. So before I stop, I really encourage you all to actually step your foot into Benton Harbor High School. I actually encourage you to come during 4 hours so you can meet some of our kids. Talk to them before you take away something so big and so monumental from their community. Please take away from people. You hear us now, but you need to see them. Hearing isn't enough. Sometimes we need to see. We need to coordinate our eyes with our ears and then bring it to our heart. Okay, facts are facts, but we need to debunk these lies. I graduated in the last 5 years and I was more than prepared for college. So we need to go back and talk about that before we can come up with anything else.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lawrence Cone, and I am an 11th grader at Benton Harbor High School. I am also a Peace for Life Youth Ambassador, and I am speaking directly to the governor and her administration, having the guts to shut down our school and attempting us to deny an education in our community. I feel that no one acknowledges us for the many academic things that we succeed in. At the beginning of the school year, the world was lied to and stated that only 38 seniors qualified to graduate from the class of 2019. That was one of the many ways to make our school look bad. And I was saying end of the school year, and the seniors from 2019 class of Benton Harbor High School has pushed through and did what they had to do to graduate with integrity and pride. I feel that closing our school and putting us in surrounding schools that clearly only want us for the dollar amount is the worst decision that can ever be made for our community. Governor Whitman, Governor Whitmer, I ask that you make a decision regarding the closing of our schools if you had a child in my grade at Benton Harbor High School. What is a city without a high school? None of the things that has happened are the students' fault, but yet and still we are the most affected. Let's go back to when we had higher power mismanaging our money. I believe our school can make a positive change and succeed, but you have to give us a chance. Without a chance, we would never be able to see the positive outcome that I know Benton Harbor can have. There are multiple people with potential who do things for this school, like Ms. Marilyn Ross Goldie and Ms. Jasmine Newburn, who has graduated and came back to give back to their community and help students succeed and push through. Give our teachers what they need to teach, and that is including a decent salary. There is nothing more to say, but that our school shutting down would be a big mistake. So Governor Whitmer, give us a fresh start so that we can join the many other Benton Harbor Tigers all over this nation, making it a better place to live. Finally, I am Lawrence Cone and I approve this message.
Hello. My name is Rochelle Strunk. I was born and raised here, 1970 teacher here. My four children went to school here. I love being a teacher. But I tried to make it clear what I had to teach them was valuable to them. They listened. I let them know when I was proud of them and when I was disappointed in them. They knew I cared about them being successful in life. And I think parents need to be better prepared. Benton Harbor for a couple of years had a parent university. I was about to get involved with that when it was dropped. Sadly, even in the 70s, young people were dropping out, weren't reading well. I got my master's in secondary reading. I taught at all the secondary schools in Benton Harbor with reading improvement programs. I saw fine teachers and administrators, and frankly, I saw some poor boys too. And I want Benton Harbor to be successful. And I'm not sure what all it's going to take, but I can tell you one thing from the outset. My mother and father, and I was a fraternal brother to all Benton Harbor graduates, our parents said the only difference between black people and white people is on the outside. And they lived their lives like that. And I am very grateful for that experience because I loved my students and they knew it. And I still get hugs from students I had a long time ago. Whatever I can do to be of help, to have our students be successful and our school to continue to exist and grow and be wonderful again, I'm ready.
My name is Amelia Sloan. I'm currently a freshman at Benton Harbor High School, graduating class of 2022. I'm also a Peace for Life youth ambassador. I feel like inside the high school is more of a family than what you do. On the outside, our school has a magic influence. I left Countryside Academy and enrolled to Benton Harbor High School to carry on that type of tradition. While at Countryside Academy, I interacted with staff that were intimidated by me because I am from Benton Harbor. This made me feel as if I wasn't wanted and was looked at as a threat. Do I look like a threat? Honestly, look at me. Do I look like a threat to society? Mind you, this is where Governor Whitmer wants you to say that. Then in our eyes, we're all threats and are putting their schools in danger. I'm here asking that you, Governor Whitmer, will come join with us to change the negative image of our school and tell positive image and to give us another chance for my fellow classmates' future to have a fresh start. Again, I'm Lil Swan. Thank you for letting me speak to I feel right. I'd like to start off by saying good evening to those who came out to hear what me and my fellow peers have to say on behalf of our school. My name is Tanae Allen. I am a Peace for Life Youth Ambassador, also known as a current 10th grader attending Benton Harbor High School. As an 8th grader coming into the high school, I was terrified. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, so I sought answers from outsiders. They painted this horrifying picture as if Benton Harbor wasn't the place to be. People would say the teachers are horrible and that they don't teach. They would also say that the kids were nightmares and that it just wasn't a safe environment for a kid like me. Well, I, Tanae Allen, is here to say that unfortunately, you guys are wrong. Every day there is something new to learn, whether it's school-wise or life-wise. When we have amazing teachers like Miss Ross Golden, you will always take some type of knowledge home with you, whether the media sees it or not. But there's a problem. The media only looks for our wrongs, and yet every single time they miss our rights. We are being framed to be so horrible, but you're on the outside looking in. There is literally so much talent and possibilities that are yet to come out of this school. Let's not forget all the positive outcomes other than basketball. It almost never starts with the community. It mostly starts with us. Benton Harbor High School is not only a school, it's a home. So why would you take that from us? Not being blunt or anything, but why? It brings no good to the community nor to the students of this school. People fail to realize that if this school shuts down, the entire community will lose money. Everybody under the development of Benton Harbor High School will be out of jobs. It's just not a good move for the economy. The media doesn't make the situation better either. Now I can see if we were actually welcomed into their schools, but from the feedback that we're getting, people look at us like we're animals. They call us monkeys and beasts, and yet we are so much more than that. They bash us on social media, and honestly, it seems to me as if this could possibly be the start to injustice racism. If we don't stand up for what we love, if we don't stand up for what we love now, then who will? Like seriously, think about this. Know your history. It's not rocket science. We are smarter than they say we are. Hear me out real quick. Have you guys ever watched the movie Ruby Bridges? Well, I'm no psychic, but what I can tell you is that this will be no different from that movie. The parents of those students who attend those very schools that you guys are threatening to split us up in create an image that we're not welcome. They call us hurtful names like slums, ghettos, dirty peasants, those peoples, as if we're not humans. These are all racial slurs, and honestly, we don't deserve this. They call us dumb and slaughter our names, but like I said in the beginning, they don't know us. Numbers do not define our intelligence. It's not about the school anymore. And not to sound selfish, but it's about us. You guys just don't get that. The history behind this school is so magnificent. Why go it all the way when you have the resources to help us? Put yourself in our shoes, Whitmer. I was born and raised into a tiger. I will not stop until you hear my roar. Not a roar of ignorance, but a roar of integrity and diligence. I am Tanae Allen. You will hear my roar. Thanks for listening.
Hi, Governor. My name is Kim Jorgensen, and I am here representing the community of St. Joe and mothers in St. Joe. I'm grateful that you're here and that you're listening to the community. I really wish that would have happened on the front end. I voted for you, I campaigned for you, I am proud to have you as my governor. I am deeply concerned, however, at the lack of transparency in this process. And at the way this announcement kind of came, and especially at the timing, because these poor kids deserve to just graduate. That's all very unfortunate. And it is very unfortunate that you have come into a situation that was terribly mishandled before you got here. I hope that in being here today, you can see that you were not given the full picture. Okay. In making that decision. There are a lot of things that our community knows, even though it's not necessarily talked about. I acknowledge what people are saying, that is truthful. future. My kids, my boys, will, God willing, graduate from St. Joe in 2021. They're fourth generation. I know what pride in your school feels like. I was a St. Joe bear. My parents, my girls. This is deeply important to the heart of this community, and I hope that we can go forward with full openness. Thank you. Beautiful.
Hi, I want to say hi to the city of Benton Harbor, to Governor Whitmer and her staff. Thank you for coming here today. I am a homeowner. I wasn't born and raised in Benton Harbor, so I'm a transplant that hasn't been here that long. My kids don't go to Benton Harbor School. I moved them to Lakeshore for the same reasons a lot of other parents did. But I'm asking if you give the school a year, let us parents get involved. Let us start a 529 plan where we can help these kids and help the school district. Give us a year to make it right. And I will bring my kids back, and I'm sure other parents.
First of all, I'm a parent here in Harvard. I have three children in the district. My name is Apollonia Williams. I'm a 2003 alumni from Benton Harbor High School. I graduated with honors. I graduated college. Like I said last night, I graduated a 4-year program in 2 years from alumni I got from Benton Harbor High School. First of all, I just want to be clear that this meeting, I appreciate everything, but I feel like we're being treated like kids, can't hold the microphone, first of all. It's redundant because last night those kids poured out their hearts, and they had a nice presentation ready for you. And I don't understand what's the difference between last night and today, that we couldn't have the same meeting. But since you're here, I'm going to go ahead and speak. I'm just hoping that we're speaking and it's relevant to us, because I remember years ago we had these same meetings and the decisions were already made even though we came. They were just going with protocol having the meetings. But whatever we said didn't really mean anything. So I'm hoping today that our voices really do mean something, first of all. And second of all, looking at this program, this proposal, you just said that you're not in support of this dissolution of our schools. But this proposal is a contradiction of what you're standing and saying. That's why the parents, like you see, people are so passionate right now because we've been lied to. You can't trust anyone right now. We have people come and talk to us and tell us what this is going to be, and they turn around and do a whole different thing. The people that you talk to that said that they were for this, those are the people who sit in these meetings with the toothpaste. Those are the people who are not telling us what they're for. They're going to be benefiting from some type of outcome from the school. I guarantee you it's not one parent that wants that high school to close that has a child there. First of all, if you have money to build homes or whatever the plan is supposed to be, we have money to implement programs. When I was in school, we had plenty of programs, Sailor Club, National Honor Society, JROTC. We had plenty of programs for the kids to participate in. Right now, they took everything away. Years ago, I don't know what happened with the school system, what was going on with the district. I believe it was a lot of title, power struggles and things going on. A lot of teachers were fired. A lot of things were not in place. I took my children out of the district. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. They fired everybody. There was no stability, no structure. I sent my kids to countryside. They had a whole code for our children that's coming from Benton Harbor that they have to follow. It's a point system that they go through. You don't come to school with a uniform on, that's 30 points. If you come again and you don't have the uniform on, that doubles the points to 60 points. You can only get 80 points. So once our children get in trouble 3 or 4 times, they're put out of the school after they've gotten $8,000 for our children. I don't want my children in those schools. This plan. If anybody thinks that this is the resolution and this is going to help our community, it's not going to. There's no way that anybody can think this is. I'm finishing up. There's no way that anybody can think that this plan is going to help us. When you take away our high school, you take away our basketball game, you take away our football game, you take away our talent. When I graduated, right now I have a business right here remember from Benton Harbor High School. When I graduated from Baker College, I graduated with honor corps. And everything I learned from my honors classes in Benton Harbor, Michigan. Where are those classes? I feel like the tools have been taken away for our kids. But if we implement some of those programs and bring those things back, our school can roar. If you take away our high school, that's our community. We only have one high school. I don't feel like how anybody can think that this will help our community. Those people that you meet with, everything that goes in the dark comes to the light. I guarantee you, it's people who's benefiting about money. When our kids should be our first choice.
I'm going to respond real quick, all right? A couple of points that I think are important to make. First of all, there's nothing that I said that contradicts what's on this paper and vice versa.
It is.
This does not say it dissolve the school.
It does.
It does not. It says that there's going to be a solution for people in high school age.
Can I read it to you, please? A high school in one of 8 local districts, meaning they will be outsourced. Meaning that's what the option's going to be for now. It doesn't mean we're dissolving the high school. It doesn't mean that it is. What does that mean?
It means it's suspended, not dissolved. And I know that everyone. No, it doesn't. You know what? The only guarantee of dissolution is dissolution. What I'm putting on the table is an alternative to that. I'm telling you right now, under state law, with the circumstances that Benton Harbor's in right now, the usual course would be dissolution. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. And you talked about taking your kids to another district so they have these opportunities. You know what? We talk about what kids are going.
I hated it. That's why
we talk about what we're losing.
They don't even want the kids there that's there. So why would you think everybody there?
All right, I listened to you. I listened to you. I'm here. You know, most governors don't take the time to actually come, and I'm here. All right? Because I do take this seriously. I am losing sleep over Benton Harbor children. I am. But here's what I know. Here's what I know. The amount of debt that this district has means that we're not going to be able to wrap students around with the supports like you had when you were at Benton Harbor. It means that when students have an opportunity at different high school, they're going to have robotics opportunities, CTE classes, a chance to get credits for graduation from college.
Ma'am, I'm aware of that, but I'm also aware of schools in suburban areas that had that, and it was forgiven. So I'm also aware of that. You got to do your homework. Y'all can't just act like there's nothing you can do about it.
I'm going to keep listening, but I want you to know, we have done our homework. We have worked incredibly hard. And when you look at the outcomes for kids, that's what drives the decisions. That's what I'm worried about. I want to make sure that these bright young people who spoke, that the kids in this pew, I know you love your schools and I know that you love your children. And I know that there are dedicated people who are working in our schools, and I know every child in Benton Harbor has the same potential as any child anywhere else in this world. But they don't have opportunity because of what's happening in the school district, and that's what we're trying to fix. But I'm going to keep listening, and I heard what you said. And I appreciate the way that you closed it, too, with that little bit of humor. Thank you, Lauren. That's right. All right.
Before we go any further, we have a pretty large line, and we are not going to be able to get everybody. So we're going to ask at least maybe 7 of you to stay to do.
They didn't even come on this side.
We're going to have to.
They didn't even come on this side. Teachers.
Wait a minute.
But if she would have came last night when she could have been, these kids were already very last night. And she didn't think when they go to these white schools. Here, I'm going to say the people stand up.
We're not going to be able to get everybody. So if you would be respectful and give 7 people that will get in line and we'll get you. We're going to have to. close out. 7 people. Seven people. 7 people. Seven people.
I just want to keep this moving together. And I'm from Detroit, Michigan, but as I've been down here, I've been learning a lot from Benton Harbor High School. And I want the high school to stay up. And all I have to say is, I know you're gonna be alright. You're gonna stay on top, alright. You can do anything. You can do anything. You gotta get up. And put your hands in the air. You gotta get up and put your hands in the air. Say, I believe, 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 yeah. I believe, yeah.
Governor Mayor, I want to thank you for coming here today. I worked very hard in 2018 to forward for you. I did a bunch of different things to support the Democratic Party. I have one question. If you go through with your resolution to shut down Benton Harbor High School or suspend it, whatever you do, can you make a promise that you will make that private land so no one can come through and buy it? So you can make a promise that no one will come and turn that into any other
It will absolutely, it will stay with the district. I won't have authority over what happens. Because I'm not touching it, I'm not taking it. No, the State Department is, it remains in control of the Benton Harbor area schools.
One more question. I was an employee at Benton Michigan College, and I was speaking to one of our directors, and they said they have no recollection of ever hearing anything about a CTE program.
I don't know with whom you're speaking, but I can tell you that the team at MDE has been working incredibly hard with Lake Community College, Lake Michigan College. And there is, in fact, if this happens, a CTE program. So they wouldn't have knowledge of it now because it doesn't exist. If this solution is adopted, then we're creating a CTE option for high schoolers.
I'm Khalil Nazi, former president of Lake Michigan College, current president of the Black Student Union at Western Michigan University. The first thing I would like to say is no matter how many people you hire that have gender women's studies and race degrees to bring in at Lake Michigan College, it's not prepared by any means to handle the amount of black students that will come. The amount of black students at Benton Harbor that come to Lake Michigan College already shows that the school's not able to handle them because they do not graduate due to institutionalized systematic racism. Now, when we talk about internal racism, if you use the brother next to you and say, and I'm not saying he suffers from it, but anyone that goes to a predominantly white institution suffers from it. And so even if you take one person who succeeds in a predominantly white institution, there's 50 others who did not succeed. And the one person that did succeed is still suffering from something that you do not understand. So, and how do I know this? Because I'm at Western Michigan University as the president of the Black Student Union. Many students come from Detroit, Chicago, tons of other places. Now they are at a predominantly white institution, 4.0s, 3.8s, and the graduation rate for black students on a predominantly white institution in Michigan is roughly 33%. At Western Michigan University, it's lower. So, Lake Michigan College has an even lower graduation rate than that for black students. So, it's not prepared whatsoever. And so, I have one question, about 2 questions for you to answer. One is, why is it that if they do not shut down the high school, the K through 8 program is now supposed to be shut down too? Because that is the narrative which we have heard, that if we don't shut down the high school, everything is shut down. And then the next question is, if you are against charter schools, regardless, even if you come with this initiative, which is not a very good and well thought initiative, if you come with the initiative, you still lay the ground for a charter school to come because there will not be an actual high school in this actual district. So, if you're so against it, why would you create the groundwork for it to happen? Even if you're not for it, you should be able to adjust your thinking and realize, okay, I need to create a defensive strategy and readjust it so this doesn't happen.
So you posed direct questions. I'm going to do my best to answer them and quickly. I appreciate the amount of thought and your experience that went into behind the questions. And, you know, I'm not threatening to dissolve the whole district, but I'm telling you that under these circumstances, what has been done in the past, I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to give the district the support to get their financial house in order, get the academics hitting the goals that we should be, and relieving them of the additional duty by helping high school students have different opportunities. Now, I know not everyone sees it that way, but that's my goal here. Now, I am concerned that if we don't have a plan that we can execute to do both of those things, that there will be a movement in the legislature toward that dissolution, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. I want this district to succeed. I want the students to have the education they deserve. Every child deserves a great education, and you just brilliantly pointed out some additional stressors that we're going to confront. But I think as long as we keep working together and having this dialogue, we can confront some of them. It's not going to be perfect, but continuing to do what we are doing is not going to yield a good result or a superior result to that which I put on the table. And that's the goal here for me. I want to get this fixed. I want this community to have a school system that is turning out kids with the skills they need so that they can be successful. But we got a lot of work to do to get there. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. Thank
you. Even though, is this fixed? That's my question. Is your plan the only plan which you can think about, or now that you've heard the voice of the people and the reasoning, which is most important, that it may not work, are you able to say, all right, let me sit down and rethink a new plan, or is this fixed?
Well, the school board has asked for a little more time to assess and to counter with some additional thoughts to see if there's another viable, viable way of going about fixing this problem. And I have said, yes, let's go. The deadline was supposed to be Friday. Let's add another week to that. We try to put it to work. Listen. The problem that we're confronting requires that we get moving fast. And like I said, time is... So I am open to extending it and giving at least another week to deliberate, and I will talk and see if it's possible to go further. But hey, that extension is something that I think would be helpful, and that's what the school board asked for.
So is no the answer?
Hi, my name is Faye Benton,
And I have a 7th grader, and this year, she went to countryside at first, but she was suspended over showing her phone because somebody sent her a picture. I think that was unfair that they suspended her, but it was a horrible year at countryside. My child came from Benton Charter, but she started out as going to Montessori. And my child reads at 11th grade level. But the thing about going to these outsourcing art schools, they don't get a fair hand when you send them. Because my child, she's not always quiet, but she does speak up for herself. And that's everybody's right. If you didn't do it, you have the right to say, I didn't do it. But you're not allowed to say anything at countryside. My child was suspended. I brought her back to Benton Harbor. She's doing fine. But this school system, Benton Harbor Area School, is teaching her and promoting her, and they didn't get a dime for her. Countryside got all of her money for education. There's a lot of students that come back into the school district, and they are taught, and they go to the next grade with no money. No Benton Harbor Area School has not been paid a cent. No sooner the schools get the money, they start to spend. And that's very unfair. Because that's my child, and it was brand new to me. I didn't know that such a thing could happen. I feel like children make mistakes. Wrong is wrong, right is right. But if you don't know it's wrong, you should not be suspended. But my child wasn't being told me I had to go before the board. I'm not going before the board for something that she should have never been suspended for, because it was a natural response. Thank you.
Eric Bradford, class 96 at Harbor High School. Some of you might remember me, I donated a baby recently at halftime at the center tournaments for the state team and everything, but just so everybody from the community recognizes me. And I guess I'm here to help represent the 30% because we are a diverse community, and I don't mean it like that. What I mean is, I guess some of my statement is going to be more for the community with some things for the governor to keep in mind. Because governance can only happen over the variables involved in our area when decisions are being made. And it seems like, we have a lot of musical chairs with business in this town. We have musical chairs with the corporation and with the nonprofit organization, one of the biggest ones in the world in this town. And with all that going on, the recent development project hasn't really brought any revenue into the school system. Where you would think, when St. Joe's having a football stadium built, all players getting money coming out there, and the money's getting dispersed through the segregation problem that, even I think England was up there doing that with, during '84. But then more recently, Granholm was dealing with that. It was an issue that because all the people in the state, the districts are getting all the money for students, and then there's nothing to teach the kids with. We used to have a technical skills center. That got dissolved through the money issues and everything. I see Ms. McCree in the audience right now, a former teacher of mine from Benton Harbor. Her and the whole army of teachers were there for us. I'm a dropout. I dropped out in '95. And there was school choice, and I chose to go back because I had faith in that school district. And, we all need to come together and not expect even Whirlpool to say things. We can't expect the governor or the state to do any more than regulate who's making decisions around here with the money and make sure things are being appropriated. And then as a community, we have to step up. People have to start making sure the kids are staying in line where necessary. But I say that with hope and faith in our kids. We got great kids around here. I'm a representative of the great talent we have around here. We are world class until you fracture the community by not, I guess regulating better where the money flowing through this town can, flow into the school district without being any help. paying off the debt, you know, I mean, forgiveness is an option, but you don't have a bunch of deadbeats in this town. You know, and because of image, and because it's 70% black, you know, people want to, you know, gentrification is a real thing. And I'm a white man standing here recognizing that. But at the end of the day, the wealthy, you know, they load all the poor. And that's something we all have to remember, white and black, when we're, you know, painting with a big brush on these issues. So I guess what I'm asking is that, I guess the community needs the pressure to state government to give oversight to how the money handlers in this area are appropriating things. So it's either a question or a statement taken either way. Thank you.
Governor, with all due respect, we understand that you know that the ball was rolling when you got in office. This process has been going on for several years now. But I'm sure that I hope that you're perceptive enough to know that there's a lot of bad taste in a lot of people's mouths in Benton Harbor because it appears, so your intentions are questioned, because it appears that since you've been in office only a few months now, and now we're faced with it's 11:59 and 59 seconds, and we're talking about we're at a point where we've never been. We're actually talking about in a week, Benton Harbor High School that has so much history, 100+ years of history, and where so many great people have come from. So it's a big ripple all over, not all just in Benton Harbor, but all over the country, yeah, in other parts of the world. Talking about closing down Benton Harbor. So the heat is really hot right now. I'm sure you understand. Now my question is this, that the data is not good. The brother from Detroit said he was an example of somebody that was in school that closed. The data is not good for, first of all, predominantly black schools have been the ones that have been closed the majority of the time throughout this country. I don't know the number. The number is, I don't know if the number is in the 70s or 80 percentile. But the fact of the matter is also that E-course, the data is not good. Where in E-course, in Inkster, in Detroit, in Gary, in Chicago, the data is not good. For when those schools are closed, those kids going into the white districts. And I'm not saying, you know, it's not black or white to me. I'm all about excellence. But the data is not good. That's my concern. And also, I heard from an insider that there's a school, a predominantly white school called Chippewa Valley, who's got a $465 million debt. Is that true?
That's so much. I can't.
Is that true?
I'm talking to the treasurer right now, and she says they do have debt, but
I heard 400 and something million.
and they still operate.
You would remember that. You see that number one time?
Give me 10 seconds. I didn't do that. I didn't do that on the spot. I really did. But I first hold myself accountable, the person in the mirror. But I want to hold everybody accountable. And I want us, here's what I want. Have you researched? Have you done due diligence? And have you done plenty of research in the amount of time that you've been here, and you and your administration, on schools, other schools, districts that have been where ours was? In the same amount of debt, students doing the same, with the same performance. Have you researched the schools that were on the brink of closing that have turned around? There are many of them out there. I know 2 or 3 of them off the top of my head. Have you researched those areas? Is there a plan C? See, that's what people are so upset about, because it does not appear that kind of research has been done.
Right. Y'all right.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Douglas, a lifelong resident of Benton Harbor and a proud graduate of the class of 1984. Our theme for our class reunion 2000, our last reunion, was United We Stand. This theme not only represented our class, but everyone who graduated from Benton Harbor High School.
I'm not a politician, nor do I have a political agenda. My only concern is that Benton Harbor High School remains open. Not just open, but reformed and brought into up to the 21st century. Our kids deserve a state-of-the-art building, the resources and equipment currently in all the surrounding districts that you're proposing to send our children to. Recently, I read that our children aren't prepared to attend college after graduating from Benton Harbor High School. I beg to differ.
I know a lot of them.
A 2015 graduate was the recipient of the Gates Award. He recently graduated from Michigan State University. From the University of Michigan with a bachelor's degree in sociology and a strong concentration in health and medicine. He's currently working on his master's in the fall. His classmate, Marco James, also a 2015 graduate, just graduated from the Michigan State University. These are just two recent graduates and products from Benton Harbor High School. Numerous graduates of Benton Harbor High School have gone to lead full and prosperous lives. We, as alumni and residents, have sat too long. We haven't done more or demanded more of ourselves from local leaders and elected politicians. I haven't always agreed with the school board, but with this current crisis, united I stand against the closing of Benton Harbor High School and the dismantling of our school system. We, as parents and residents, need to do more. We need to make sure our children are prepared for school each day. We need to make sure their homework is done. If there's an issue at any of the schools, we need to find out why and rectify the situation immediately. As the saying goes, charity starts at home and begins and spreads abroad. To the students, this is much your fight as it is ours. You all know better, so do better. Stop fighting Stop fighting with each other and lift each other up. Stop stressing about the clothes on your backs and the shoes on your feet. Worry about what's in your head. Graduate so you become the future doctors, leaders, lawyers, educators, entrepreneurs, and politicians that you're destined to become. I'm asking all alumni to give back, assist financially, volunteer, tutor, whatever you need to do to make a difference. Remember, what matters most are the achievements we've achieved as a whole, and not the individual classes that we represent, because we're all united, or we're all Tigers and united we stand. Thank you.
First of all, my name is Pastor Torres Montgomery, pastor of the Harbor Oak Seventh Adventist Church at 769 Pipestone Street. I want to thank you, Governor Whipper, for taking the time out of your schedule and coming down to meet with us. In spite of all of the high emotions, I want you to know that you did the right thing. And I hope that you don't just listen, but actually hear what the people are saying. I pastored in this community for the past 7 years, and when I look at this proposal, I have a problem with the problem. The problem is 0 11th graders were deemed college ready in the last 5 years. The problem, only 3% of students were reading at grade level. This is why I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because I pastor young people who go to Benton Harbor High School. I pastor young people who go to the different area schools, and I have 3rd graders who are reading at a 3rd grade level. I pastor young people who graduated within the past 5 years, not just from Benton Harbor High School, but from college. So I just wanted to, I have 2 questions. The first question is, can you share with us the data that says this is true? Because otherwise, it's offensive. When I know, without a shadow of a doubt, I have young people that I serve who this does not match up with. So if there are ways that you share with us, like, where did you get this from?
Those are the state testing results.
No. Is there a website?
Someone suggested that sorry. If you go to mysschooldata.org, you can get all the results on the state website.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. I still don't believe it because from what I've experienced, that's one thing.
I totally understand you. I mean, I know that there's incredible potential and a lot of talent in Benton Harbor, just like everywhere else. That it's not uniquely bad in Benton Harbor, right? All the potential is here. The problem is we, as a district, as a state, as an education system, have not been meeting kids' needs. And so when you look at the state testing, let me finish. when you look at the state testing, Benton Harbor doesn't stack up, and that's what we're up against here. I'm not, and I don't, we don't want to come off insulting, and we don't want to come off as critical of the children. That's not what's going on here at all. We've got outcomes that we measure against the whole state. And frankly, Michigan's behind the rest of the country. But Benton Harbor unfortunately stands out for some of these test results. Now, it could be a bad test day. It could be a variety of factors that go into that. But that's what we're up against.
This last thing I want to say. We, in my opinion, we should have had this meeting at the school since we're dealing with a school matter, but we're in the church. And since we're in the church, I want to take you to the church for a second. In John chapter 5, here's a story. And I want to talk to you about legacy, all right? I want to talk to you about legacy and leadership. In John chapter 5, there's a story about a man who's been at the pool of Bethesda for 38 years. Okay, he's been there struggling for 38 years, and there are several other people, the Bible says, who are around this man. And the Bible says that Jesus now goes and speaks directly to this one man. Here's what I'm telling you. What I'm asking you to do is, there are several other schools that got other issues that are happening, and they're going on. But I'm asking you to give Benton Harbor, this one man, a chance, an opportunity to turn ourselves around, to get our stuff together. Please do not close the high school down. It's going to do so much damage to the community. Our kids are going to be dispersed and spread out all over this area, and will not have the same treatment that they're going to get from people who look just like them. That's all I got to say.
I'm here available if you want to speak to me, because I have tons of data from my 3 degrees that I researched Berry versus the board of Benton Harbor. In 1967 it started, and ended in 2002, year after I graduated, and the state came in 2010. So since 1967, there's only been 8 years for the local districts to even have control of themselves. I can talk to you about the kids that I work with in my trial in the high school who are extremely intelligent, and I didn't get to do it this year because the CEO, when we reviewed my proposal and approved it, as the board approved it. My name is Elizabeth McCree. I'm a local attorney. My father is a 1965 graduate of Benton Harbor High School. My mother came to work at Benton Harbor High School in 1968 and worked there for 37 years. I didn't attend Benton Harbor High School, but it was my home. A lot of people in here know that I spent my childhood running around that high school.
You give your card to Pam, please.
I will. I want to talk about my personal story during this time. I'm a 2001 graduate of Lake Michigan Catholic High School. I have all statistics. I graduated number 4 in my class with a 3.9 GPA. I was the second black homecoming queen at the school. I had the second highest SAT score at the school. I was in the National Honor Society. I ran the Black History program that I started and ran every year that I was there, and they got rid of after I left. I have all of the statistics. But what I also have is a story of heartache in the city that almost didn't make me come back. Going to that school district for 12 years. If I had $1 every time I was called a nigger, either at my school or at the surrounding schools as a 3-sport varsity athlete, I wouldn't have my 6 figures of school loan debt. I didn't get to go to school one day because across the street from my high school, where the Benton County Courthouse sits, the KKK march, my junior year in high school. And they told me that they couldn't protect my safety in that situation. I participated in Ivy teams at Benton Harbor High School. It's a program to shape young black women. That program's not going to exist when these kids go to other schools. It's about more than the numbers. It's about equity, and it's about the soul of these children. I was terrorized going to school on Sunday school week. The sheriff had to put a sticker on my car because I was pulled over so many times driving to St. Joe to go to school that I was missing class. That's the reality. So even though I achieved greatly, I suffered. And if it wasn't for my mother, who is an amazingly strong woman, and my father was an amazingly strong man, and the people at Benton Harbor High School who helped shape and mold me, I wouldn't be where I am today. When I decided I wanted to go to an HBCU because I had never had a teacher of color in the classroom, not just a black teacher, a Hispanic teacher, Asian teacher, Native American teacher, had never had one. And I got into Georgetown. My guidance counselor told me, I'm not going to help you get into that Spelman school because you should go to Georgetown. Sylvia Coleman at Benton Harbor High School helped me get into Spelman with a scholarship. I got over 100 scholarships when I graduated, including from the Daughters of the American Revolution. I have the statistics. And I almost never came back here. I wouldn't even apply to school in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, or Illinois because I wanted to be away. Not because of the people of Benton Harbor, because they embraced me. They loved me. I was first runner-up to Miss Benton Harbor 2001. It was the best experience of my life because I got to actually be involved in my community. It was outside of this community where I was terrorized. And not in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s. I graduated in 2001. And my mother graduated from a segregated high school in Arkansas with a top teacher after it was dissolved became a bus driver for the school district. So the idea that they can go to other districts is just absolutely not true. This plan is not representative of history, and it's not what the soul of these children need. They had AP classes at Benton Harbor when I went there. I didn't get AP classes. They had honors classes, and I didn't get credit for honors classes. That was less than 20 years ago. They had CTE programs. They had a wonderful choir. They had drama and dance. They had the best band in the state. I know all of those things exist. And I didn't get a chance to be a part of that because my mother knew what was going on with the DSEC. And she knew that this was coming. She was an administrator. She wasn't an administrator because she knew what that would be. But she was chair of the department for over 20 years. And there's people sitting in this classroom, she's sitting in this church today, she loves as though they were her children, even though I'm her only biological child. These kids are not going to get that at the other school. I achieved, I succeeded, and I didn't get that. So these kids need that so they can come back. So I won't be the only black attorney taking clients to the city in a township, in an area that is 70% black. I shouldn't be the only one. That's right. We have to think about what the future of this is. These kids need it, and they're capable of achieving it. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Mindy. I moved up here about 5 years ago from Niles, which is near the state line in Indiana. I went to Brandywine High School. We had about 5 black students there. They were treated horribly. I want to reaffirm the vitriol I've been seeing on social media about surrounding school districts not wanting the Benton Harbor students in their schools. It makes me sick. But it makes me feel even worse to think that there's a prospect that they're going to have to go to these schools where this vitriol is already being out there against them. Furthermore, I worked in 2016 at a moving company in St. Joseph, Michigan. Benton Harbor Public Schools paid 6 figures to have desks and chairs moved from a closed school to another school. 6 figures for a premier moving company to move a school. There are all of these young people out here in Benton Harbor struggling, trying to make ends meet, and I just don't understand why the school district didn't reach out to some locals and pay them to help move the schools so you can get the community more involved. I also would like to know how this Superintendent Herrera, who was supposed to fix everything, is just going to get to leave. Does he have to pay everything back that he's made? If you had done the job, you were paid to do. I also think that maybe you should get somebody in there that will settle for a $70,000 salary as opposed to a $160,000 salary. Right. Because they might actually care about their job instead of just the dollar figure, which it seems like this current superintendent is chasing the dollar figure, and it's evident at this point. I want to close with, I did try to move to Benton Harbor. When I applied for Little Brown at Kojic, I was told that I didn't want to move there, that I shouldn't bring my child there. I went and found a cheap apartment in St. Joe, put my kid in St. Joe schools. Worst school experience ever. The Blue Ribbon, Lincoln Elementary School, where the principal took his own life a month before my daughter started school, by the way. Wow. That's your Blue Ribbon school for the nation. And that's the thing. It's all a facade. The reality needs to come out. That's why I just brought up all these personal facts, personal experiences that I have had. And I'm a white girl, you know, I'm not a Benton Harbor resident. I came here. I have a very close friend that is from here that I've taken under my wing, that I have watched spend a night in jail over getting too many food stamps when he made less than 20 grand. It's disgusting. It's not just the school districts that are corrupt around here. It's the county government. You need to investigate it. I voted for you praying that you will delve deeper into this DeVos charter school scam that's going on. There's so much going on down here. Coming from the DeVos and Bethany Christian down at the Benton building, please do something for our people. Black, white, all of us underprivileged. The poor are being criminalized. Criminalized. And that's all I got to say.
Mayor Pro Tem Dwayne sees Pastor Dwayne sees Father Dwayne sees got 9 kids in this graduating class that were not supposed to graduate. One of the main reasons why the mayor's office is not going to fool with this discombobulation, because when we were at the historic Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church, when you came running for office, we told you exactly what Jennifer Granholm did. She circumvented the government and used preachers to do it. The same preachers that are here today. Amen. Told that they supported the state takeover. The same legislation that poisoned Flint water system is the same legislation that took over the city of Benton Harbor. We're not, I know they legalized marijuana, but prostitution is not. And I feel bad because we keep going through the same thing, and you got vultures that are all around the room, ready and sliding, waiting to take the property and the kids to get the money. I was at your house and I appreciate the invitation. But you said one thing that stuck with me that I will never forget. And I can't use those kind of words when preaching them in church. You said find the money to fix the roads. And I'm asking you today to find the money to fix the roads. Preachers, you either with us or against us. Lottery money that says they give millions of dollars to school every year. How much are they giving Benton Harbor? Last year, I know I got one of those things. My kid went to Lakeshore High School. He graduated, he cried. Cried because he seen nooses in the hallway. Last year, St. Joe High School had where it said a text message went viral that said kill all the niggas, eliminate the black race. 2 weeks ago at Lakeshore Junior High, a young man from the gun school was never reported when he was expelled. Please do not think that these surrounding areas really care because they're ready with their offers and they're ready with the Brinks truck. But we will fight. We will fight.
I think first of all, we want to be clear and separate ourselves from where everybody else is. First of all, as a preacher of this community, I have been and always will be for keeping open the District of Benton Harbor area schools. Along with Attorney McCree, I am a graduate of Paul Clare Schools. My first experience of really dealing with this was 1981 when they started the segregation program. First thing that one of my friends said to me growing up that we were good friends was, hey Mo, did you hear the niggas are coming? And that's 37 years ago. And that's still embedded in my mind of what was said about Benton Harbor residents coming to Eau Claire. Nothing has much changed. School of choice operates and accepts our kids because of the legislation that was passed, and they need our kids' money as well. I served 15 years at the Benton Harbor Charter School. Almost the number 4 question on every application for school of choice was, has your child been suspended? I seen a kid deprived from going for being suspended for flipping a pencil in class. So I just want to ask this question. What are we going to do, or what this legislation or this government body is going to do that can really put in place something that is going to protect our kids, because I don't see it happening. It's happening every day now. I get phone calls every day from charter school. Pastor McAfee, my kid didn't reach the limit of points, So how do we get those districts to do it? The bottom line of it is we can be educated here, we can fix this thing, we can fight together. It makes no sense to get them educated and then destroy them from the inside out. And because it makes no sense for me to have a good mind, but when I look in the mirror, I don't feel good about myself. A young man came to the Minister Alliance. His kid just left Lakeshore, going back to Good Harbor from the basketball team. Very intelligent young man, has stopped playing sports, he's on medication, all of these things because they're somewhere that they're not wanted. And these communities is disingenuous on their behalf to act like they want our kids. They will take these kids because it'll give them some extra money in their budget. But it's not because they care about them or want them, because if they did, they wouldn't just keep the ones that can't pass test scores. They wouldn't just take the ones that pass test scores. They'd take the ones that are struggling and have behavioral issues also. Thank you.
Pastor Carlton Lynch, I'm Pastor Pilgrim West Baptist Church. You was with us in November 2017 when you campaigned for the office of governor. Today marks 155 days that you've been in office. That's a very quick turnaround for you to present to a community to shut down a school. The whole night was about education. That's all we talked about. Teachers were there. Principals that was fired was there. It almost makes us believe that you was not integral with your visit.
That's right. Right.
The problem that we have with the meeting tonight, but let me take that back. The problem that I have tonight with the meeting is that Bishop Atterbury, I told you yesterday in your office that I don't fight preachers unless you take a political stance. You say out of your mouth that you're neutral. And if you're neutral, that means we're in the wrong place. We're in the wrong place because the first statement that came out of our governor's mouth tonight was a lie unless you lied. You said he was the only person that invited you. That's a lie because the school board invited you and you didn't show up last night. So I want to know, how can an inner city black African American pastor that pastor poor people be sitting in that chair and have a neutral stand? That's why you wasn't mayor, because you're too neutral. That's why people don't trust you, because you're too neutral.
I am a 1969 graduate of Benton High School, and I am the sister of Dr. Johnny Rutley, who graduated from Benton High School in 1965. My daughter, I have a daughter now that's in Benton High School because she was at Countryside. They kept her 11 tardies and her remarks which she made silent until she got picked on for a fight. When she defended herself, they put her out, they suspended her. And then they called me home and said, no, she's not suspended, she's got to stay out so many more days and go before the board for expulsion. Do you know what expulsion is? They take your child out of school for 180 days, and this child cannot go to any other school in the United States, not only in Michigan, but in the United States. In order for her not to do that, I have had to bring her back to Benton High School. If you close Benton High School, where will our children go when these people around here put them out because they don't want? Where they going? Where are they going? Come on, answer that. Where they gonna go when they move them out? Answer the question.
And I thought I had another situation together, another president on here. There's a multiple issues, and we all can stand and get one. But I have to say that my research thus far has drawn me to the fact that politically, Ben Harbor has not been fair to the citizens of the city of Ben Harbor. I'm not quite sure how this goes, the previous before, how this got turned around, but I need you to know also, Governor, I supported you. And I supported you for reasons that you are a woman, and you might be a mother, and you must know deep down what a mother goes through. But this concept is what came to light for me. Now today, I see the signs that say pure mission. Okay? And prior to that, I see the signs that say make America white again. Okay? So what I'm simply saying, are we citizens or are we slaves? Have that been changed? Now I have had a transitional form of communication with others that say that we are not even second class citizens. So this goes to the in-depth of race. And this goes all the way back to history, so far away, because I am yet young, okay? Now, if I'm going to research the history, which is your guys' system, online, libraries, education, we learn from you guys, because we are the descendants of slaves, okay? So if we learn this, and we're being taught this, and this is why Trump wants to do the wall, but America is going to become all Caucasian, where are we going? I mean, I'm going to the United States citizen, but right now today, in Congress, they are trying to abolish birthright. How can you abolish my birthright and I'm born on the soil, I'm born with the earth? How? But my point is this. I attended Ben Harbor High School, and we should have been had more than one high school. And if the teachers, if the kids are failing, it has to be done by every category. State, local, and parent. Okay? Now, welfare reform came in effect, as far as I acknowledge, in 1994. They really put it in effect 1996. Now, what welfare reform did to this community and this area, we had to abide by everything as far as receiving assistance. So we could not participate with the schools and support the schools and volunteer with the schools to be aides and work with these kids. Because we still had to do Michigan work or work first and all of this good stuff. So I just don't understand. I mean, closing down the school, this is what I have to say to my people. We need to invest in our own kids. We need to build our own schools for our kids. We need to make our kids our priority. We do everything to mingle with these people, and these people have a right, if they do not want parks with us. We can invest, we can build, it's up to us.
First of all, I'd like to give honor to God, to the pastor of this church, to all my fellow brothers and sisters, community leaders, staff that so personally like to meet your poor whenever you get the opportunity. And what I'd like to say is that I'm a resident of Ben Harbor, a long-time resident. I've worked with children in Benton Harbor for really almost over 30 years. 9 years in Benton Harbor school system. I do have a leadership degree. I've been executing my leadership degree to the fullest. The parent engagement project that was initiated, I helped put that together. I didn't have no parts in it. There's many things that I've done for this community that really, I just haven't got my prompts with it. But all said and done, my dedication to serving the students in Benton Harbor have been 9 years consecutively, scarcely missed maybe 9 days out of 9 years. So that lets you know, without speaking on the mic, without the politics, I know what's going on. Some of it I support, many I don't. But one thing I can say from my observation is that I see some very strong, hurt young people. For my 9 years coming out of college in 2009, I went directly into Benton Harbor school system. And I've been fighting for 9 years in transformation myself. One school closed after another. So my thing is, whatever that you guys are going to do, I pray with all my heart and soul that we do it quickly, we do it fairly, we do it in a timely manner, and let it be stable. The kids can't take no more instability, because they're going to go to other schools, they're going to dismantle the mind. So it's going to be hard to try to get these kids on whatever path that we have, just because of the 9 years of transformation. So I'm just asking, please, make a strategic plan. And let it be, just let it be. Let the kids just go to school as long.
My name is Jennifer Nesbitt. I live in Benton Harbor. I teach at Benton Harbor High School. So many people have learned, but it's so beautifully tonight. Sending these kids to another school system will create so much trauma to them, not where they're going, but to our students. Some students may do really well, but in another district. But the majority are not going to make it. They're not going to do well. They're going to end up getting knocked out of those schools for one reason or another. I had a short conversation with our counselor today. And the trauma caused by changing school districts is great. Our students already have a lot of trauma. They don't need more. We need a plan to keep our high school open, to give these kids a chance, not to hurt them more. I would like to propose a plan. I've been working on it. I've got feelers out. I'm from the Kalamazoo area. Kalamazoo, their schools weren't doing very good. Predominantly black area. Their city was all but dead. They instituted a Kalamazoo Promise scholarship to help kids go to college, pay for. There's a lot of people that don't have a lot of money to go to college, and it's a real reason why some students don't go there. But it drew students into Kalamazoo school districts. We have, from all accounts that I've heard, about 782 students in Benton Harbor area schools that do not go to Benton Harbor area schools. We need a plan to draw them back in and increase funding to the schools. Not take out our high school students, send them to other schools, and take away that funding. I read the plan. I don't understand how it's financially going to help our school district to send that money elsewhere. We're not going to have any more money K through 8 than we already do.
That's all right.
First of all, I give honor to God, which is the head of my life. I'd just like to say to the citizens of Benton Harbor and all these students, is the governor with me? This is not your problem. It's a lot of emotions that's brewing. I'm a kid that grew up in Highland Projects. I don't think you know what that is. Highland Projects. Mother was on crack cocaine. I had a man by the name of Louis Garvey. Paul Will. He picked me up every morning from Highland Projects and get me away from all of that. Take me to school. Make me do right. Pull your pants up. You're not going to act like this. You're going to have character. You're going to go to school. Basketball will be the way out for you, bro. I look at all these flags on the wall. My students don't even know this. I went to Southeastern Iowa. I was junior college All-American. Right, number one point guard in the whole country out of all the junior colleges in America. From Benton Harbor, Michigan. I replaced Jason Kidd at University of California, Berkeley. I played alongside with Tony Gonzalez, the best tight end I ever played before. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, who is the president of the developmental league of the NBA. All these great people. I see all these kids in school and I see a lot of them in me. And it hurts just for me to read stuff and my fellow. He's here every day with me. He's a security. We work at the school. We see the stuff that all these people are saying. I think you're listening to the wrong people, Governor. You really need to come back to our town and sit down with some of these great minds that we have around us and take their opinions. No disrespect to none of these pastors. There's a lot of other people in this town that you can talk to. And we have this conversation at the church. I respect the Lord. But I really didn't understand why it wasn't at the high school. But that's what we're talking about. Tearing the high school down. So it's nothing against you, Governor, or your team. As a citizen of Benton Harbor, we have to do better. I think someone said earlier, hey, we have to make our kids do right. Speak, Prentice. We have to make our kids go to church and learn the word and all of this. We're not hooligans. I don't care what people say. Some of my best friends are Caucasians. Two of my brother-in-laws are Caucasians. I have biracial nephews and nieces. So it's not about that. It's about our town, Governor. And we're going to stand here and we're going to fight. We're not going to fight with guns. We're not going to fight with knives. But we're going to fight for our high school.
That's right. That's right.
First of all, we're going to honor the guys because we are in the house of the Lord. My name is Raymond McGee. I'm a lifelong resident of Benton Harbor. I work for a Great Lakes Regional Organizing Committee. I'm a 20-year local 355 member. I actually helped work on your campaign to get you elected. I want to thank you for coming, and I'm glad that you're here. I know all the guys in Orange, and you know what I'm talking about, having you back. So I'm not going to reiterate what everyone else said. But we work diligently, work very hard, and we had to work fast to help get you elected, because it was a tough election. But we got it done. We got it done by working together. United we stand, divided we fall. And all I want to say for the community of Benton Harbor is we want you to work that hard for us and keep the school open. We just want a resolution instead of just getting rid of the school. We just want to have another solution, another opportunity to be back here again and give our kids a chance to prosper, such as so many other guys, men and women around here, have graduated and on to success. And I thank God for the opportunity that I had coming out of Benton Harbor. You know, if it weren't for my peers and mentors, I wouldn't be in the position I am right now. So I want to thank you two for coming, you all for coming, but especially the Lieutenant Governor and yourself, because all the locals across the state had your back and had something to do with it, and it took a team effort. And we just want a team effort to keep our school open. That's all I'm asking.
Well, I appreciate everyone making time to be here tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to hear from you and to listen and to learn. You know, we've got hard work ahead of us, but this was helpful, and you know, none of this is easy. No matter what solution we come up with, we got hard work ahead of us. And I just am incredibly grateful that you made some time here. It wasn't cool in here. Sometimes the conversations are tough, and you know, it's about children, and that's what the most important thing is, that we do right by the kids. I want to thank Bishop Atterbury. I didn't mean to put him in an awkward position when board meeting last night, and so I did ask a number of different venues to see if someone might host us tonight, and he was the first to offer, and I'm really grateful for that. It's not an endorsement or anything, but it is opening up his home here to all of us to have an important conversation, and I appreciate your time tonight, and I hope we can work together to solve these problems, and I appreciate it. Thank you.